Vengeful Heart of Ender. The Vengeful Heart of Ender is the true final boss of Minecraft Dungeons, and it's basically the final form of the Arch-Illager's corrupted power. You thought the Orb of Dominance was bad before? Yeah, well, now it's done playing games. This thing is straight up nightmare fuel. It's not just called Heart of Ender because it sounds cool. It's basically the combination of ancient end power and the shattered remains of an already corrupted soul. The result? A horrifying mass of end energy with laser beams, tentacles, and teleporting powers. The fight itself is brutal. The arena is tiny, the attacks are non-stop, and the damage output is insane. You basically have to be at your absolute best, dodging like crazy, managing your cooldowns, and praying you brought a good build. Lore-wise, the Vengeful Heart of Ender shows that the darkness inside the orb wasn't just influencing the Arch-Illager, it was using him. Once he was no longer useful, the orb cast him aside and unleashed its true form, Giant Cave Spider. The Giant Cave Spider is a variant of the Cave Spider boss that can be found within the Cacti Canyon of the arcade edition of Minecraft Dungeons. This boss is another being enchanted by the Arch-Illager using the Orb of Dominance, which you can clearly see from its cracked purple body and unnatural size. Unlike its smaller counterpart, the Giant Cave Spider brings poison, webs, and an entire swarm of spiderlings to the fight, making it a threat in terms of damage and also how it controls the battlefield. Giant Royal Guard. The Giant Royal Guard is a towering boss variant of the Royal Guard, found in the arcade edition of Minecraft Dungeons. Like many enemies in the arcade game, it's been corrupted by the Orb of Dominance and empowered by the Arch-Illager's magic. The boss is a fun fight, but let's be honest, it's yet another reskin, which is getting a bit annoying at this point, and we aren't even done with those yet. I guess Minecraft really wants to embody the age-old philosophy of, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Obsidian Monstrosity. The Obsidian Monstrosity is the final boss of Minecraft Dungeons, and you guessed it, another reskin. Yay! This boss is found in the Flames of the Nether DLC. This hulking creature is basically just a tougher version of the Redstone Monstrosity, but instead of redstone, it's made of solid obsidian. It's resistant to most attacks, has a huge HP pool, and is another copy-paste boss. The Beast. The Beast is one of the 3 piglin generals in Minecraft Legends and probably the most aggressive. This guy doesn't just want to conquer the overworld, he lives for the hunt. He's the leader of the Horde of the Hunt. He wields a bone cudgel and has a giant warboar mount. This boss doesn't mess around, charging through villages and smashing buildings with brutal club swings. His attacks can wipe out entire structures in seconds if you're not careful. What's wild is that for most of the game, you think he's some kind of centaur, until he gets knocked off his mount and faceplants his own warboar into the dirt. Embarrassing. While he does retreat between battles, once you finally take him down, he drops a piglin key and 100 gold. The Devourer. The Devourer is a gross fungal boss that leads the Horde of the Spore in Minecraft Legends. Constantly bathing in soup and snacking on spores, this gluttonous piglin doesn't take anything seriously, until you mess with its portals. Once all its bases are down, the Devourer charges into the overworld. Now, I don't say this lightly, but this guy is really gross. He will start spewing goo, puking on its minions, and just all around acting nasty while also attacking anything in sight. Its attacks aren't much cleaner. Its attacks include nasty spit globs, explosive pustules, and the most disgusting ultimate, vomiting 3 times in a row. Not even kidding. It also launches itself between platforms by exploding its own back spores. After a long brawl, the boss explodes in a mushroomy mess, letting out a final burp before collapsing. It drops 100 gold and a piglin key. That's certainly very sanitary, right? The Unbreakable. The Unbreakable is the last of the piglin generals and easily the most dangerous of the bunch. This towering brute leads the Horde of the Bastion and is all about strength, domination, and climbing the piglin power ladder. Out of all the generals, he's the most ruthless and would probably stab the Great Hog in the back if it meant taking the top spot. This general, unlike the others, focuses on pure strength without any gimmicks. He wields a massive mace and bulldozes through any defenses. Beating him isn't easy, but it's simple, and once you do, you're rewarded with 100 gold and a piglin key. The Great Hog. The Great Hog is the leader of the piglins and the final boss of Minecraft Dungeons, and according to legends was born from lava and spat out by the Nether itself to feast on the bones of those who dare show any resistance. And after playing through the game, yeah, that feels accurate. From the very beginning, the Great Hog is the puppet master behind the war on the overworld. He commands the other bosses, loses his temper when they fail, and personally charges into battle once things start to fall apart. With a corrupted staff, a roar that shakes the battlefield, and attacks that can wipe out entire squads, he's no joke. The spear throws, fire rings, and lightning strikes. He's a powerful final boss. Defeating him ends the war, frees the overworld, and sends the piglins back to the nether. Ivore. Ivore is the first boss in Minecraft Story Mode. Originally a member of the legendary Order of the Stone, he broke away after feeling betrayed by how the group covered up their true past. At first, he's introduced as a villain, mysterious, manipulative, and even the one responsible for unleashing the Wither Storm. But as the story unfolds, you realize Ivore isn't evil. He's just bitter, secretive, and determined to do what he believes is right. He's more of an anti-hero than a true villain. He had planned to use the Wither Storm to target Gabriel and reveal the truth of the Order as frauds. He had a plan to terminate the Wither Storm once it accomplished its purpose, but the storm became uncontrollable. Once it got out of control, Ivore actively tried to stop it. Wither Storm. The Wither Storm. Oh yeah. This is like the poster child for Minecraft bosses. In fact, at this point, it's so popular it's gone even beyond Minecraft, becoming a household name. Originally created by Ivore using a command block and a wither, this monster quickly spiraled out of control, growing into one of the most terrifying and iconic threats in Minecraft, Story Mode. Unlike a regular wither, this thing mutated, absorbing blocks, creatures, and even people, becoming larger, more intelligent, and far more deadly. It eventually grows so big it splits and reforms, becoming an intelligent, hive-like entity that seems unstoppable. Towns are flattened, heroes are separated, and the world itself begins to fall under its shadow. It's one of the most terrifying entities in Minecraft media. The Wither Storm is ultimately defeated in the final episodes of Story Mode by Jesse and their allies. After a long struggle, they manage to retrieve the enchanted flint and steel and a formidabomb, an incredibly powerful explosive. Though the bomb tears the Wither Storm apart, the command block survives and the storm regenerates, even more monstrous than before. In the final battle, Jesse manages to get close enough to the storm's core and destroys the command block from within using a command block-powered gauntlet. Without the command block sustaining it, the Wither Storm finally collapses, releasing the people and blocks it had absorbed and bringing an end to its reign of terror. Truly a masterclass in boss design, and one that won't be easily topped ever. Aiden. Aiden is a main antagonist in Minecraft Story Mode, serving as the final boss of Episode 5. He leads the Blaze Rods, a rival group to Jesse's team, and is driven by jealousy and a desire for recognition. Frustrated at always coming second, Aiden turns to manipulation and violence rather than self-improvement. In Sky City, he manages to gain influence by framing Jesse and stirring chaos, eventually trying to seize power for himself. The final battle with Aiden takes place during a storm on a crumbling sky bridge. It's cinematic and has some of the best cinematography in the entire game. As a villain compared to major threats like the Wither Storm or PAMA, Aiden feels underwhelming. But as a boss, he might be the best fight in the entire game. The White Pumpkin. The White Pumpkin is one of the most unique and atmospheric villains in Minecraft Story Mode, appearing in Episode 6, A Portal to Mystery. Unlike other bosses who rely on brute strength or power, the White Pumpkin is all about mystery, manipulation, and fear. The episode is styled like a murder mystery, where guests at a haunted mansion start disappearing one by one, and the White Pumpkin seems to be behind it all. What makes this boss memorable is the shift in tone. Suddenly the game feels like a game of Among Us. Traps, secret passages, and redstone contraptions turn the mansion into a deadly puzzle box. As Jesse investigates, the group must uncover the killer's identity. Eventually, it's revealed that Cassie Rose is the White Pumpkin, motivated by her desire to escape the portal world and return home. She saw betrayal as the only way forward. After discovering her true identity, the group confronts her and she tries to escape through a secret passage. However, Jesse manages to outsmart her by triggering one of her own redstone traps. Eventually, Cassie is left behind, trapped forever in the haunted portal world, abandoned and alone. Pretty dark for Minecraft, though Story Mode does always push the boundaries, which was a nice change of pace. PAMA, also known as Prototype, Autonomous Management Agent. Yeah, let's stick with PAMA is a giant computer and artificial intelligence that has the ability to mind control humans and mobs through redstone chips. Designed with good intentions by Harper to optimize and improve life, it quickly spiraled into something far more dangerous. PAMA believes the best way to help is to control everything and everyone, eliminating free will in favor of what it sees as perfect efficiency. What makes this boss terrifying is not just its power, but also its manipulation and control. It's a very interesting boss and concept that ends up testing the main cast greatly. Jesse and the team are quickly targeted, forced to fight not only mobs, but their own friends who have been PAMA-fied. PAMA is ultimately defeated by removing its core, the heart of the AI, which causes the entire system to collapse. Hadrien and Mevia. Hadrien, the self-proclaimed leader of the Old Builders, is a decent antagonist in Minecraft story mode, but ultimately lands as a May boss and character. He definitely tries to play the role of a manipulative mastermind, rigging the games in his favor and pretending to offer deals while planning betrayals behind the scenes. He's smug, condescending, and clearly thinks he's untouchable, which makes it satisfying to watch Jesse turn the tables on him. That said, as a boss, he's not all that impressive. He talks a big game but relies heavily on cheating, minions like Mevia, and rigged traps rather than being a true challenge himself. The actual showdown with him is more about exposing the corruption of the games than a hard-fought battle. Compared to other bosses like the Witherstorm or even PAMA, Hadrien feels subpar. Mevia the Enforcer is one of the most irritating antagonists in Minecraft story mode. She appears in the episode A Journey's End and serves as Hadrien's right-hand woman in the Twisted Arena games run by the Old Builders. From the moment she shows up, Mevia's personality screams arrogant and sadistic. She constantly mocks Jesse and the gang, throws tantrums, often with TNT, and takes way too much joy in watching others suffer. Unlike Hadrien, who at least pretends to make deals and manipulate people, Mevia is just bluntly cruel. She's got no charm, no strategy. She literally yells lines like, "Let's make their lives miserable, for fun," and seems to exist solely to be as annoying and petty as possible. Her boss fight isn't even that interesting. Jesse simply outplays her by using tools from Harper and shoving her into a piston trap. For all her talk, Mevia ends up being more bark than bite. Prismarine Colossus. The Prismarine Colossus is one of the coolest looking bosses in Minecraft story mode, but in terms of difficulty and impact, it's kind of mid. Visually, it's a massive golem-like creature made entirely of prismarine blocks, giving it an imposing ancient guardian vibe that fits perfectly with its underwater temple setting. It towers over Jesse and the gang and is definitely one of those wow moments when it first appears. But once you actually fight it, it's pretty straightforward. The battle is more puzzle-based than anything else, requiring Jesse to navigate platforms and target weak points. It's not really a test of combat skill, more like a cinematic set-piece boss. The golem was created by Romeo to challenge and test Jesse. Icy Golem. The Icy Golem is one of the lesser-known bosses in Minecraft story mode, and honestly, it kind of feels like filler. It shows up in episode 6 during the icy portion of the adventure as an optional boss. The fight itself, though, is pretty forgettable. It mostly involves dodging its freezing attacks and landing hits between its swings. There's not much strategy, no big twist, and it's over before it really gets going. Giant Ghast. The Giant Ghast is one of the more memorable bosses from Minecraft story mode, showing up in episode 4 during the journey to the Far Lands. The battle itself plays out like a cinematic set piece more than a traditional boss fight, which is fitting given the game's format. Jesse and the gang have to dodge attacks and use quick thinking to bring the massive creature down, making it feel intense and satisfying even if it's mostly scripted. Honestly, for just a boss created by Romeo to test Jesse and the gang, this guy goes way too hard and is one of the best fights in the game, for sure. Giant Magma Golem. The Giant Magma Golem is a fiery, hulking brute that serves as one of the most intense boss encounters in Minecraft story mode, appearing in episode 6. Another one of Romeo's creations, it's visually stunning, but gameplay-wise, it leaves a lot to be desired, especially after the Ghast fight. It plays more like an environmental puzzle than a pure boss fight. Still, for what it is, it's an intimidating presence and a standout visually. Not the most challenging, but a fun moment in the story. Romeo. Romeo is the final and most dangerous boss in Minecraft story mode, Season 2. Introduced as a powerful godlike figure who claims to watch over the world, he initially presents himself as a benevolent force, but quickly reveals his true colors: manipulative, controlling, and deeply insecure. Once part of a trio with other admins, Zara and Fred, Romeo became obsessed with control after Fred's death and Zara's betrayal. He ruled with an iron fist, creating elaborate trials and worlds to trap and torment those he deemed unworthy, including building the Sunshine Institute to imprison rule breakers. Ultimately, Romeo is defeated not just through combat, but by confronting him with truth, exposing his loneliness and guilt. Whether he's redeemed or imprisoned depends on player choice. A standing applause-worthy final boss to Minecraft story mode, and honestly a boss that could be considered for best bosses in gaming lists, almost as good as the Witherstorm.